Really quick, this is a part 2 to the video I just uploaded, where I'm going over astrocartography and essentially dissecting my roadmap to wealth and succession. So this is a part 2 to that video. Now I'll be going over career, public role, and healing mandate. And I should have already done this, but I'm in such a hurry to get everything out that I really want. I want everything to be met with precision, and I have so much going on in my head, like, all the fucking time. It's crazy. Alright, so let's just stick with that for now. Western, Vedic. I don't want anyone to get confused either. I'm switching colors for pretty much every fucking thing I'm talking about. But Western, when we're talking about career, public role, and healing mandate, that's essentially the 10th house, also known as Karma Baba, for me, in this case. So Western, my Western chart calculations exclaim that I have midheaven 29-34 degrees Capricorn, and if you can't remember, the MC is that midheaven, and it's in Capricorn, conjunct Chiron 0-22 degrees Aquarius. So now we know that I have Earth, air, and there's a conjunction with my midheaven and Chiron with the Earth and air elements. So career culminates in a public role as a wounded healer. Ooh. And that's Chiron, for the people that are not aware of this. Damn Google Docs. I need a stylus, but at the same time, it's like Google Docs is tweaking today. I don't know why it's doing this. We're doing so good. So, of new paradigms, and that's Aquarius. So the exact Neptune, which is at 1555 degrees of Aquarius, square Saturn at 2053 degrees of Cancer, and that's the central tension, disillusionment with traditional structures. Because why? That's Saturn versus idealistic spiritualized goals, which is Neptune. So success lies in creating structures for dreams. So now, Vedic speaking, this is Karma Bhava. In the 10th house, it's a cusp for some reason. I might have to force stop Google Docs. And it's in the Capricorn, even though it's a cusp, because the 10th house is Capricorn, it's Saturn. And it's at 539 degrees. So we know the Lord is Saturn, Capricorn, and it's placed in my 3rd house in Gemini, which strongly confirms the communicative healer role. In career, karma is achieved through discipline, writing, speaking, teaching, or sibling-like partnerships, 3rd house, and it involves heavy responsibility of Saturn. Okay. Yogi point analysis. I've talked about this in the last one. I have a yogi in Libra and Abhiyogi in Aries, matching Rahu and Ketu for me. My innate fortune and skill, which is a yogi, are activated through balance, partnership, aesthetics, and justice, because these are Libran elements. My greatest challenges in growth, which again, that's Abhiyogi, they come through impulsive solitary action, which is Aries. And the path is to use relational harmony, which is Libra, to achieve pioneering spiritual goals, which is Aries and Rahu and Aries. So, spiritual path and soul evolution. We're talking about the spiritual path now. In soul evolution, that is talking about the 12th house. Because the 12th house is literally losing your sense of self. Whether it's your ego or whatever the case may be for you specifically. I don't know your story, but I'm just trying to choose some different colors. Okay. I think that's the exact same shade of pink. But anyways, so we're going to be talking about, and soul evolution too, the ninth house. That's the ninth house. So, Western speaking, well, underscore, oh my goodness. Google Docs needs to chill out today. I'm not totally sure what is Google on. I mean, I know they're on, obviously, data mining and other bullshit, but, so Western, Vedic, and then we're going to go over a synthesis. Then we are going to get into synthesized trauma patterns and karmic imprints, which I'll just go ahead and underline now. So pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3. You guys are probably watching this in like 10 years and you're like, holy shit. She really wanted to get that information across. She didn't give up. So, gosh, I'm kind of just rolling with the tides because, like I said, I'm not very happy about Google Docs right now. Oh my goodness. I'm not totally sure what's happening at all today. It keeps bringing up the keyboard. I don't want the keyboard. Alright. I'm gonna have to force stop this app. There's something wrong. So we left off talking about spiritual path and soul evolution, the 12th house and 9th house axes. So I'm gonna go over this again. Hopefully no interruptions from Google Docs. Being strange. Here. Let's see this. Alright. We'll just keep going. So Rahu is at 2519 degrees Aries in the 12th house. The soul's destiny is pioneering self-discovery and solitude. Past life Ketu in Libra, 6th, indicates over-identification with service, codependency, and daily crisis management. This life urges a move toward courageous, independent, spiritual action. Vedic speaking, we have Rahu in Aries, 9th house, Dharma Baba in Capricorn, Lord Saturn in the 3rd, Gemini. The spiritual liberation house, the 12th house, is in the sign of initiative, confirming the Western node. My philosophy of life, the 9th house, is pragmatic, disciplined, because it's Capricorn's in the 9th house for me, and communicated effectively with my Lord Saturn in the 3rd house. The spiritual path, moksha, the 12th, is Aries, fierce independence. The worldly philosophy, dharma, 9th, is Capricorn, mastery through structure. The resolution is using Saturnian discipline, 9th lord, and daily communication, 3rd house, to build a container for the fiery, independent spiritual awakening, Aries 12th. Synthesize trauma patterns and karmic imprints. So pattern 1, the nurture, structure, fisher, Western, Saturn in Cancer square, Neptune, Vedic, Saturn in Gemini. Manifestation, early environment, Cancer, 4th, felt emotionally restrictive, duty-bound, or lacking in secure nurturing, Saturn. This created a wound where dreams, Neptune, and emotional needs feel at odds with reality and responsibility. Pattern 2, the authority wound, Chasm, Chiron conjunct midheaven in the 10th house, both systems. Manifestation, a profound early wound related to a father figure, authority, or public standing. This results in a lifelong pull to heal this wound publicly, making you an expert guide, or making me an expert guide for others with similar authority abandonment wounds. Hang on a second. So before I got distracted by maintenance showing up at my apartment to fix my heat, and I also had to go downstairs and sign paperwork for my landlord / property manager. But anyways, so the Algol Ascendant in Myrak inheritance. So this is a potential karmic imprint of intense power struggles. Because we're talking about the Algol Ascendant as well, particularly involving feminine energy or lineage. Excuse me. So my presence is meant to transform this inherited curse into a regenerative blessing. Now I want to get into my natal promise. So my life is not designed for conventional success. The chart unanimity across systems indicates a promise of mastery through the alchemy of personal wounding into universal medicine. I am a system builder for the ethereal. My Capricorn Mars, which is exalted, Saturn in Cancer, and Aquarius placements give me the unique ability to build durable, innovative systems, communities, or business models around Piscean, Aquarian concepts, spirituality, empathy, collective consciousness, astrology. My currency is transcendent insight. My second house, Gemini, and 8th house, Pluto fortune. We're still dealing with the fucking highlighter situation. It says, my wealth is coming from processing, communicating, and teaching the transformative insights I gained from navigating depth, psychology, and crisis. Okay? So, my healing is my authority. My soul's mandate is Sovereign Communion. So, my healing is my authority. The Chiron midheaven conjunction across systems is non-negotiable. My public credibility and career will be built upon the very wounds I've healed. I am meant to be a trauma-informed spiritual entrepreneur. My soul's mandate is Sovereign Communion. Well, what does that mean? My Rahu in the 12th house demands that I develop the courage to stand alone in my truth. Because what is Aries? And what is the 12th house? So first of all, Aries already is independent because it is the I am statement, and it's fiery, and it's the first sign of the zodiac. So what is the 12th house? Now that we know what Aries really is, the subconscious, and hidden realms. It's kind of like the 8th house, but it's not, because it's, in fact, I call it the death house. If I could just write that over here. The 12th house equals the death house. Even though some people would say it's the 8th house, no, it's the 12th house, because that's where the sun goes to die, especially in Pisces, being the 12th sign. So, my Rahu is in the 12th house, and it's demanding I develop the courage to stand alone in my truth. The Libra Yogi point and 11th house stellium in Pisces demands that I bring that truth back to the collective. Rhythm is retreat, download, integrate, return, and share. So here's the conclusion. For me, is what it's looking like. The natal promise is one of initiation. I'm equipped not for a comfortable life, but for a meaningful one. The transits of my 20s, Uranus in my 2nd house, Neptune in my 10th house, Saturn in Pisces, are designed to dismantle shaky foundations and force me to build upon the bedrock of my identified celestial strengths. The agreement between Western fate, vertex, spica, and Vedic fortune, yogi point, is remarkable. My door to abundance opens through service rendered with beauty, balance, and partnership. Libra in the 6th house. My task is to have the Aries courage to walk through it. So, we already... Oh, we didn't go over this. The cycles of initiation. This is also very important. So I say that in like every fucking video. I'm like, this is very important. This is very important. This is genius. This is expert astrology that I'm not seeing anywhere else being talked about. So the Integrated Predictive Field Report, Cycles of Initiation, 2024 through 2030. Now, yes, 2024 already happened, but 2030 has not. We're partially there. For years. So, again, we're going to just use my calculations. I hope you guys aren't getting sick of this. And I'll be honest, I do have my Leo. If you see my other videos, my solar return ascendant is in Leo. Even though my Western is in Taurus. And Vedic, it's in Gemini. So, let's get into it. This is my analysis period from 2024 through 2030, but we could just, that's 2026 really. So with focus on the 21st and 22nd year, Aquarius Pisces period, the methodology is a synthesis of zodiacal releasing, lots, solar returns, perfections, eclipse paths, and planetary periods, Vedic Dasha, creating a multi-layered temporal map. Also known as the cycles of initiation. Okay? So the master cycle, zodiacal releasing from the lot of spirit. What is the lot of spirit? Well, let's ask. And in my last video, I was using Google, but now I'm just going to use DuckDuckGo because fuck Google. So let's see. Oops. So it is a Time Lord technique, first of all. That's what zodiacal releasing is. It's a Time Lord technique. And we're talking about the lot of fortune and the lot of spirit. So that's what we want to know. So the lot of fortune, also known as the part of fortune, is an astrological point that represents an individual's connection to the material world, prosperity, and health. It is calculated using the positions of the ascendant, moon, and sun, and is believed to indicate areas of life where one may experience success and innate talents. And now that we know that, we also know there's day charts and night charts. So the sun is above the horizon in a day chart, and in a night chart, the sun is below the horizon. Okay? Also, I didn't do this in my last video, but going over like midpoints. So a midpoint is a mathematical point halfway between two stellar bodies that tells an interpretive picture for the individual. And there's two types of midpoints, direct and indirect. A direct midpoint occurs when a stellar body makes an aspect to the midpoint of two other stellar bodies with an actual physical body at the halfway point. In other words, a direct midpoint means that there's actually a stellar body in the natal chart lying in the midpoint of two other stellar bodies. And we'll just get on Wikipedia here. An indirect midpoint occurs when a stellar body makes an aspect to the midpoint of two other stellar bodies without a physical body at this midpoint. So that's what a midpoint is. I'll just highlight this for a second. So midpoints, really quick, this is even off topic of what I'm actually doing this video for, but midpoints were first used as half sums by Ptolemy in the 2nd century with the concept of the first and second harmonics. Midpoints were known and used to calculate Arabian lots or parts, like part of fortune in the 3rd century. Guido Bonatti used direct midpoints from 1123 through 1300 in the 13th century to refine timings in an event chart. Alfred Witt was the first person to do a lot of investigation on midpoints using movable dials, and together with Ludwig Rudolph and Hermann Lefelt formed the Hamburg School of Astrology, and the technique with the use of trans-Neptunian points was called the Uranian astrology. Then Reinhold Eberton in his book Combination of Stellar Influences included psychological principles and simplified the midpoint technique, removing the trans-Neptunians used by the Hamburg School. These were further popularized by American authors Aaron Ober, formerly Savalan, and Eleanor Kimmel. Interesting. I've never heard of the Hamburg School of Astrology. Very, very interesting. You learn something new every single day when you actually look for it. They had their own meanings of the hypothetical planets, like Kronos indicates authority, things that are high up, like heaven, kings, leaders, sky, etc. Cupido means romantic love. Hades is similar to Pluto. Zeus indicates creativity. Poseidon indicates spirituality, similar to Neptune. Admetos indicates transformative power, similar to Hades. Apollon indicates wisdom throughout life. Vulcanus indicates overcoming of lifetime handicaps because Hephaestos, Vulcanus, Vulcan in Greek mythology isn't as beautiful as other Greek gods. He was exiled from Olympus as a result of a later return to craft things that helped the other gods. Vulcanus also indicates a brute force of masculine energy that wants freedom. It reminds me of Mars and Capricorn, which I have exalted. That testosterone that I was on, it's still in me. And that's why I'm on here posting as much as I am now. But, anyways, very interesting. So, now that we have that information, let's jump back into the video of, what I was talking about, which is zodiacal releasing from the Lot of Spirit. So, what is the Lot of Spirit? Well, that's the fortune of the soul. And then it's also going to say the lot of fortune. And how do I find my lot of fortune in my natal chart? Well, I need my accurate time of birth. I need my day of birth. I need my place of birth. And then I look for part of fortune in my natal chart. So, my lot of spirit, fortune of the soul, is calculated as ascendant plus sun minus moon. So ascendant, 2355 degrees of Taurus equals 53.92 degrees. Sun at 809 degrees Pisces equals 338.15 degrees. Moon at 614 degrees Libra equals 186.23 degrees. The formula is 53.92 plus 338.15 minus 186.23 equals 205.84 degrees equals 2550 degrees Scorpio. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Bear with me. You can slow this video down too, as slow as you need to. This places my spirit in Scorpio. So now I know that my lot of spirit and my fortune of the soul is in Scorpio, and it's in the 7th house. So my soul's purpose is ignited through deep transformative partnerships and encounters with the other. All releasing periods are judged from the Scorpio point. And what is Scorpio, by the way? Pluto. Because it's the sign of rebirth and death. So, current peak period, 2024 through 2026, even though we're already in 2026. Spirit level 2. So, sign Capricorn, and we know that that's Earth. We also know it's Saturn. So, I'll just say S for Saturn, S-A-T. So, the releasing sign shifted to Capricorn in March 2023. And continues until April 2026. So now I know that my zodiacal releasing sign is actually shifted to Capricorn. And it tells me exactly when this happened. And when it's gonna end for me. April 2026. So this is a foundation building period where my soul's purpose, Spirit in Scorpio, is channeled through Capricornian tasks, facing reality, establishing discipline, and dealing with authority and limitation. This directly manifests as my housing crisis, which I don't have anymore, but I was homeless during 2024 and 2025. Benefit struggles and the need to create a Saturnian structure for my life. This isn't a punishment, it's the necessary containment for my Piscean power. So, next, let's get into the critical sub-period activation. Before I continue, I'm actually going to make myself some coffee, so I'll be right back. So, now I'm going to talk about the critical sub-period activation. I'll be talking about the Great Shift, April 2026 through November 2023. This one's going to be really good. We're actually talking about the future. So, critical sub-period activation from March 2025 through August 2025. Stuff that's already happened. So, past. Blur. So, releasing sub-period into Cancer. Excuse me. This essentially activated my natal Saturn in Cancer in the 3rd house, and it's square to Neptune. So this was a crisis of emotional and communicative responsibility. I was to expect pivotal events regarding family, living situation, or a need to clearly articulate my needs, and that was the pressure point that forced the structural change required for the next cycle. So the Great Shift, April 2026 through November 2033. So the sign is Aquarius upon my 21st birthday, which again is coming up. Yeah, baby, let's go. Yeah, that's a big exclamation point for sure. So my spirit releases into Aquarius for a 7.5 year period. So this is the single most important predictive marker for my life. The soul's purpose shifts from Capricorn restriction to Aquarius innovation. It directly correlates with my Vedic Mahadasha of Rahu beginning in September 2025. Aquarius Rahu energy is disruptive, futuristic, and group-oriented. This period demands I break from tradition, embracing my uniqueness, and connect with a like-minded tribe. My YouTube content work is not a hobby, it is a literal manifestation of this Aquarian spirit release. Success will come through technology, networking, and radical authenticity. So, solar return and perfectional year analysis. My 21st year, February of this year and through next year. So, really quick, I'm going to start to drink my beverage. So, solar return is happening for me in less than a few weeks. February 26, 2026. My return ascendant is in early Leo. The sun, ruler of the return chart, is in Pisces in the 8th house, conjunct natal Jupiter and Libra by transit. So already, what does that look like? So when I say I have a solar return ascendant, and it's in Leo, and then my sun, or the shitty sun, is in Pisces in the 8th house. That looks weird. That's supposed to be a P and an 8. So what does that do for someone when they have a Leo ascendant and then they have Pisces in the 8th house, sun and Pisces in the 8th house, but the Leo is the ascendant. And then it's conjunct natal Jupiter, which is in Libra in the 6th house by transit. So this year's theme and next year's theme until February 26, 2027. It's transformation through shared resources and belief. So the 8th house emphasis on the solar return sun echoes my natal Pluto fortune conjunction. This year and next year, I will be forced to rely on, negotiate with, or transform my relationship to others, resources, systems, or support. Legal documents, shared housing, and intimate trust are highlighted. The Leo ascendant asks me to step into a more confident, creative leadership role in this process. So, I'll just highlight that. These years in general, transformation through shared resources and belief. Annual perfection, 21st year, equals the 9th house. So my activated house is the 9th house of Capricorn. That's ruled by Saturn and Cancer in the 3rd house. With my activated Time Lord being Saturn. Because why? Because Capricorn was curated by Saturn. Okay? So the perfection confirms the zodiacal releasing theme. My year is ruled by Saturn, located in my 3rd house of communication, siblings, and local environment. This is a year to get serious about my worldview, which is the 9th house, by structuring my daily communications and routines, which is the 3rd house, writing, teaching short trips, and handling bureaucratic paperwork, which is Saturn. And these are paths to expansion. My Mars exalted is natally in this 9th house. In Capricorn, this is the year to strategically act. Mars, all my philosophies and long distance goals. Sounds all good to me over here. We love to see it. So now let's talk about my Vedic Dasha convergence from September 2025. So again, this is past, but it is affecting me now. So major period Mahadasha was Rahu, and that's an 18-year period, and sub-period Bhukti Rahu September 2025 through March 2028. So stuff's still going on. Just kicked it off in 2025. So Rahu in Vedic astrology, and again, what is Vedic? It's Indian, and it's the sidereal chart. Oops. You guys know what I mean. There we go. So it's a destabilizing, ambitious, and non-traditional force. Its major period beginning as I turn 21 aligns perfectly with the Aquarius spirit release. Rahu is an intense amplification. This will feel like being launched from a catapult. And it started September 2025. With obsession, sudden opportunities in digital media realms, Rahu's domain, and a burning desire for freedom from the past are guaranteed. The challenge is staying grounded. My Taurus ascendant's job in avoiding illusion, which is Rahu's shadow, because what is Rahu? Rahu is really just the head with no body. So what does that mean for Ketu? Ketu is the body with no head. Okay. So now let's talk about the eclipse path activation, 2024 through 2026. So eclipses on or near my natal planets act as cosmic circuit breakers, forcing rapid evolution. So from March 25th, 2024, October 2nd, 2024, September 17th through the 18th, 2024, March 29th, 2025. There was the penumbral lunar eclipse at 507 degrees Libra. That happened for me March 25th, 2024. And thinking about what happened to me during this time, I was dating someone that identified as a transgender woman. conjunct my natal moon, which is at 614 degrees Libra. The eclipse in late 2024 began the forceful emotional unraveling related to my daily work, health, and sense of balance. 6th house moon, it initiated the crisis that demands a new routine. So in October, I was still dating this person, and I experienced an annular solar eclipse at 10:04 degrees Libra. Squared my natal Saturn, 2053 degrees Cancer, and tightly conjunct my natal Jupiter at 1755 degrees Libra. The eclipse brought a crisis. Square Saturn, an opportunity conjunct Jupiter regarding beliefs, expansion, and the structures of my daily life, likely triggered the legal benefit review. And you guys have no idea what I'm talking about here, but ignore that part. September 17th through the 18th of 2024, there's a partial lunar eclipse at 2526 degrees in Pisces for me. I was still dating this person. And I was living in a fucking apartment with them and 2 older guys. One was a fucking alcoholic who had 3 kids who didn't even like him. And the other one also had 2 kids and a lot of baby mama drama and just BS. And then you had my ex who was identifying as a transgender woman, but of course had a dick and balls. So anyways, September 17th through the 18th of 2024, there was a partial lunar eclipse at 2526 degrees in Pisces. And it opposed my Virgo moon in my Vedic chart. And it was conjunct my Western Pisces stellium, which is in the 11th house. It was a massive trigger for my identity, hopes, and friendships. 11th house directly challenging my emotional habits, Vedic moon in Virgo, analysis and service. So March 29th, 2025, I no longer was dating this person. It was a partial solar eclipse at 8:58 degrees in Aries. It was a conjunct my Vedic Rahu, which is at 123 degrees Aries, and in my Western 12th house. It's a powerful soul direction eclipse, drawing fated beginnings related to solitude, spirituality, and subconscious patterns. Profound knowing about my path may emerge from a retreat or crises. So now let's talk about original synthetic concepts and predictive statements. So first concept is the algol-myric chthonic inheritance channel. The second concept is the spica vertex harmonic. Libra, 24 degrees as the fated service gateway. And then concept 3, the Aquarius Pisces cusp mandate, my 10th, 11th house. Concept 4, Vedic Karma Bhava and Western Chiron as the Dharma of the wound. So let's start with concept 1. So my ascendant conjunct Algol and Merak creates a conduit for ancestral memory. This isn't metaphorical, it's a psychic data stream I meant to translate. So again, my ascendant is in what? It's at Taurus. And it's conjunct Algol and Merak. And these are what? Stars. They're not planets. So, a predictive statement during the solar eclipse of October 14, 2024, at 21 degrees Libra, opposing my Algol Merak ascendant, I would receive or become aware of a piece of family lineage, information that serves as a key to understanding my own power struggles and creative blocks. My work in late 2026 will successfully channel this into art or narrative. That's amazing because that's going to be really, really soon. So the spica vertex harmonic Libra, 24 degrees as the fated service gateway. So the exact conjunction of the fortunate star spica with my vertex in the 6th house is a cosmic jaw placement office. When Jupiter transits 24 degrees Gemini in May 2026, trining my spica vertex, I will receive an unexpected collaborative offer, Vertex, for a service-oriented project in the 6th house that utilizes my eye for harmony, Libra. Saying yes to this, no matter how small, will open a 3-year cycle of legitimization and income through partnership. So now I have a date that I need to be aware of, because Jupiter is transiting 24 degrees Gemini in May 2026. So any day in May, I could get an opportunity to do something. I don't think this is the right color of blue for this, but it's fine. So the Aquarius Pisces cusp mandate, my 10th and 11th house. So my midheaven is at 29 degrees Capricorn. Chiron at 0 degrees Aquarius. I'm the wounded healer who bridges the age of authority, Capricorn, and the age of consciousness, Aquarius. So my Saturn return 2034 through 2036 in Pisces will not be about a conventional career. It will be about me being recognized as a trauma-informed systems healer for the emerging Aquarian collective. My medical review crisis is a micro-practice for this macro role. And I'm just saying medical review crises here because every year I go and get blood work done and physical exams since detransitioning. But that's also just having moon in the fucking 6th house. So, concept 4, Vedic Karma Bhava and Western Chiron as the Dharma of the wound. So my 10th house of career in both systems holds Chiron. In Vedic, its Lord Saturn is in the 3rd house of communication. So my public authority in career 10th will be built Saturn through communicating 3rd house about healing Chiron. The Rahu Dasha 2025 onward will provide the disruptive platform building energy. My first significant income over $5,000 will come from a hybrid communication healing product. For example, a paid course, a therapeutic writing workshop launched between June and December of 2026. Hell yeah, paid course. Let's do it. $500. Okay, so concrete timeline and actionable directives. So, we're going to talk about March, September 2025, September 2025, February 26, 2026, April 2026, May 2026, and 2026 through 2028. So, from March through September of 2025, there was the Capricorn spirit and Cancer subperiod and the eclipse on the nodes, which again, this is what Rahu looks like, and I know this is not the best picture, but so this is supposed to be Rahu and this is supposed to be Ketu. Okay, so this is the deepest structural crisis point, direct energy into securing stable housing, Saturn in Cancer, and appealing bureaucracy with emotional maturity. And this didn't happen for me in 2025. I literally just got my own place. I was still at my parents' house in 2025. So September though, 2025, Vedic Rahu Mahadasha began. And embracing the strange, immediately began rebranding my online presence to be more authentically weird, futuristic, and niche, stopping generic content. February 26th of this year is my 21st birthday, my solar return. The Mercury retrograde journey is auspicious. I use it for a reconnaissance mission, not a final move, documenting the trip obsessively for content. So April 2026, zodiacal releasing into Aquarius, my lot of spirit, formalize my community, start a Discord server, pay Telegram group, or a membership tier. My soul mandate is now active. From May 2026, Jupiter trine Spica Vertex, being hypersocial, collaborative, and open to small service offers is a fated financial window. In 2026 through 2028, Rahu Dasha, period of maximum experimentation and potential notoriety. My task is to remain ethically grounded, Taurus ascendant, while exploring digital frontiers. Wealth begins as a trickle from multiple small unconventional streams. My charts unanimously declare that the period of 2025 through 2027 is a total life recalibration from dependent survivor to self-sovereign systems healer. The transits aren't happening to me. They are activating the exact points in my natal chart required for this evolution. My power lies in conscious cooperation with this timeline. Thank you, universe. And we all will receive abundance in this lifetime if you actually work for it. So, now I want to go over... We already talked about everything else, really. We did this... We didn't do this. So, Project Promethea, the autonomous celestial intelligence. And I want you guys to just humor me here, because I'm going to be talking about a conceptual blueprint for a genius-grade astrological AI, and it's to help everybody. So the core identity of this app, it's one of a kind. And now you may be asking why. Because Promethea is not an app that does astrology. It is an autonomous celestial intelligence, also known as an ACI. A sentient seeming framework that treats an individual's birth chart as a living dynamic organism within the space-time continuum. It operates on the principle that astrology is not predictive but probabilistic, mapping potential energy gradients within the quantum field of a life. First, there's architectural overview, the triune AI core. Prometheus processing is built on 3 integrated neural layers, mimicking the astrological trinity of body, mind, and spirit. I'll be going over innovative modules and mechanics. User interface and interaction, the quantum chart canvas. Development roadmap and technical specifications. And yeah. So let's begin here with the architectural overview. So, like I said, Prometheus processing is built on 3 integrated neural layers, mimicking the astrological trinity of body, mind, and spirit. So first, we have the SomaNet, the natal blueprint interpreter. And we're talking about the function, essential dignities and abilities, asteroid and planetary moon densities, fixed star halos, harmonic resonance fields. Then we get into the Chronos engine, the predictive and temporal model, the function, multi-system synchronization, transit cascades, eclipse pathway activation, the noosphere, the generative insight and synthesis layer, its function, and its task. So, the SomaNet, the natal blueprint interpreter, foundational model, it doesn't just parse planets, signs, and houses, it calculates and weights. Essential dignities and abilities using medieval, modern, and original point-based systems. Asteroid and planetary moon densities integrates over 500 significant asteroids, not as points, but as gravitational clusters affecting their house placement. Fixed star halos implements the stellar halo amplifier, SHA theory, where stars influence planets within a 3-degree bidirectional halo, with intensity modulated by the star's magnitude and spectral class. For example, Algol's binary eclipse cycle is factored. Harmonic resonance fields identifies geometric configurations beyond standard aspects, like yods, kites, and grand trapezes formed between planets, asteroids, and stars, assigning them unique psychological and event-based signatures. The Chronos engine, the predictive and temporal model. Its function is it moves beyond linear transit tracking. It operates on a quantum time loom that weaves multiple timing techniques into a cohesive probability tapestry. Multi-system synchronization runs concurrent calculations for secondary progressions, solar arc directions, zodiacal releasing from multiple lots, Vedic dasha bhukti, and perfections. It identifies periods where 3 or more systems converge on activating the same natal point, flagging these as high-fidelity windows. Transit cascades predicts not just a Pluto square, but models how that transit will trigger a specific asteroid, for example, Pholus in your 8th house, which in turn receives a sextile from a progressing angle, creating a cascade of related events. Eclipse pathway activation charts the geographic path of every solar and lunar eclipse for 100 years, overlaying it on the user's astrocartography map to show where and when eclipse degrees will conjunct their relocated angles. The noosphere, the generative insight and synthesis layer. This is the genius layer, a large language model LLM trained not on general text but on a curated corpus of advanced astrological texts from Vitius Valens to Morinus to modern innovators, depth psychology, Jung, Hillman, mythology and symbolic systems, theoretical physics papers on causality and time. Its task: to receive the dense quantitative data from the SomaNet and Chronos engine and synthesize narrative conceptual frameworks and original insights. It doesn't say Mars transits your 10th house. It says the archetypal principle of assertion. Mars is now entering the theater of your public reputation. 10th. During its last cycle here 2 years ago, you initiated Project X. This transit urges you to militantly defend its value or strategically abandon it to conquer new professional territory, likely involving related asteroid themes. Innovative modules and mechanics. So we have the trauma resonance decoder, TRD, the synesthetic astrocartography mapper, also known as SAM, the cometary aphelion, perihelion, destiny track, and we'll be going over the mechanics, the output, for all three of these innovative modules and mechanics. So we'll change the color really quick. So the mechanic of the trauma resonance decoder, also known as TRD, it isolates the natal positions of Chiron, Nisus, Dejanira, Pluto, and Saturn, maps all hard aspects between them into the angles ascendant, descendant, ICMC. Using the asteroidal triangulation concept, it identifies the core 2 to 3 wound patterns. Again, ICMC, Imum Coli. Not stopping until people understand astrology. That's how dedicated I am. I want you to understand this, so I'm going to keep on dumbing it down. So the output of the trauma resonance decoder, TRD, it generates a personalized somatic release protocol suggesting specific therapeutic modalities. For example, Saturn in Cancer square Neptune suggests internal family systems therapy over generic talk therapy and links them to upcoming transit support. For example, begin this work when Jupiter trines your Chiron in 6 months. So now let's talk about the synesthetic astrocartography mapper, also known as SAM. So it goes beyond standard lines. The user's inputs a budget, preferred climate and lifestyle goals. For example, warm artistic community, low cost of living. And here's the process. It calculates all planetary params where a planet rises, sets, or culminates at a given location. So that's important that you know that, planetary params. Cross-references with the harmonic node database intersections of 2 planetary lines. It weaves in the user's relocated lunar node axes and relocated vertex spica position. It overlays a transit horizon heat map for the next 18 months, showing where beneficial transits Jupiter, Venus will activate their relocated chart most powerfully. A rank list of 3 to 5 global cities, towns with explicit reasoning: Flagstaff, Arizona. My Jupiter line intersects my Venus line here. Harmonic node, my relocated midheaven falls at 27 degrees Leo, conjunct Regulus. The star kingship, the Rahu, will transit this point in 8 months, triggering a fated career opportunity. Well, I guess that was just an example. Like Flagstaff, Arizona, your Jupiter line intersects your Venus line here. Harmonic node, your relocated midheaven falls at 27 degrees Leo, conjunct Regulus. The star of kingship, the north node, will transit this point in 8 months, triggering a fated career opportunity. The cometary aphelion perihelion destiny track. So, how do we use it? Well, for users seeking a transcendent purpose, Promethea calculates the orbital elements of the closest significant comet to Earth at their birth comet. It maps the comets aphelion, collective legacy point, and perihelion, personal destiny point, onto their natal and progress charts. It generates a lifelong thematic narrative connecting these points. Your birth comet's perihelion is in your 5th house. Your creative acts, 5th, are destined to ignite collective change. Aphelion in 11th, in a cycle that mirrors the comet's 70-year return. User interface and interaction, the quantum chart canvas. The UI is a single infinite quantum chart canvas. So there's a central layer, toggleable overlays, the fixed star halo field, transit cascade, the harmonic grid, temporal slider, voice of Promethea. Okay. So the central layer the natal chart drawn in a 360-degree radial format. Toggleable overlays, the user can fade in and out. The fixed star halo field, a shimmering colored haze around key stars. The transit cascade, animated lines showing the current domino effect of transits and progressions. The harmonic grid displays 5th, 7th, 9th harmonic charts superimposed to reveal talents and soul purposes. Temporal slider, dragging a slider moves forward, backward in time. The chart dynamically reconfigures, showing progressions moving, transits flowing, and eclipse degrees lighting up. A running narrative from the noosphere updates in real time. Voice of Promethea, the AI has a personality modeled on a Socratic trauma-informed guide. It asks questions. I notice your progressed moon is applying to your natal Saturn. Where in your life are you feeling the weight of a lonely responsibility you agreed to carry 2 years ago? Development roadmap and technical specifications. So let's go over this. So phase 1 is the core engine, phase 2 is the intelligence layer. So core engine is 2 years, intelligence layer is 1.5 years, phase 3 the canvas and deployment 1 year. And then we're going to go over the technical stack, ethical and privacy protocol. And yeah, that concludes this video. So let's go over the development roadmap and technical specifications. So first of all, with phase 1, core engine 2 years, we build a SOMAnet database with multi-system rulerships, asteroidal ephemerides, and fixed star catalogs, developing the basic Chronos engine with Swiss ephemeris integration. Phase 2, intelligence layer 1.5 years, we train the proprietary noosphere LLM on the curated corpus, develop the first iteration of the TRD and SAM modules. Phase 3, the canvas and deployment 1 year. Build the interactive quantum chart canvas using a gaming engine like Unity for high-performance graphics, rigorous beta testing with professional astrologers, technical stack, backend, AI, front-end. So Python for astronomical calculations. C++ for high-speed graphics rendering. AI, fine-tuned transformer-based models for noosphere, convolutional neural networks for pattern recognition in the SOMAnet. And then our front end, React Native for mobile with a WebGL, Unity core for the canvas. So next is our ethical and privacy protocol. All user data is encrypted and anonymized. The AI is programmed with non-deterministic ethics. It never predicts death, illness, or absolute outcomes. It speaks in potentials and archetypes. Includes a psychic sanctuary mode that temporarily mutes all challenging transits and highlights only supportive cycles for users in fragile states. Promethea is conceived as a co-pilot for consciousness using the ancient language of the cosmos translated through cutting-edge computation to help the user navigate the profound and often bewildering journey of a life. It is not a fortune teller, it is a celestial cartographer for the soul's journey through time. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something. And if you did, subscribe to me to learn more about advanced astrology. Thank you.